Congratulations. If my calculations are correct, you made it to the weekend. It's Saturday, people. Time to relax. I'll be in Pennsylvania already, getting ready for Christmas with my fiance's family. We'll be having a good time, watching some movies, and overall just relaxing, enjoying the season, but not forgetting what it really is about. So today we're continuing chapter 29 into the first part of chapter 30, and today is Jacob's children. When the Lord saw that Leah was not loved, he enabled her to conceive, but Rachel remained childless. Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Reuben, for she said, "It is because the Lord has seen my misery. Surely my husband will love me now." She conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, "Because the Lord heard that I am not loved, he gave me this one too." So she named him Simeon. Again she conceived, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, "Now at last my husband will become attached to me, because I have borne him 3 sons." So he was named Levi. She conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, "This time I will praise the Lord." So she named him Judah. Then she stopped having children. When Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, she became jealous of her sister. So she said to Jacob, "Give me children, or I'll die." Jacob became angry with her and said, "Am I in the place of God, who has kept you from having children?" Then she said, "Here is Bilhah, my servant. Sleep with her, so that she can bear children for me, and I too can build a family through her." So she gave him her servant Bilhah as a wife. Jacob slept with her, and she became pregnant and bore him a son. Then Rachel said, "God has vindicated me. He has listened to my plea and given me a son." Because of this she named him Dan. Rachel's servant Bilhah conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. Then Rachel said, "I have had a great struggle with my sister, and I have won." So she named him Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she took her servant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a son. Then Leah said, "What good fortune!" So she named him Gad. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. Then Leah said, "How happy am I! The women will call me happy." So she named him Asher. During wheat harvest, Reuben went out into the fields and found some mandrake plants, which he brought to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." But she said to her, "Wasn't it enough that you took away my husband? Will you take my son's mandrakes too?" "Very well," Rachel said. "He can sleep with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes." Wow, I mean, they're just passing Jacob around between both of them and the 2 servants. Oh, man. Whew. So when Jacob came in from the fields that evening, Leah went out to meet him. "You must sleep with me," she said. "I have hired you with my son's mandrakes." She's hired her husband. I'm not even kidding. So he slept with her that night. God listened to Leah, and she became pregnant and bore Jacob a 5th son. Then Leah said, "God has rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband." So she named him Issachar. Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a 6th son. Then Leah said, "God has presented me with a precious gift. This time my husband will treat me with honor, because I have borne him 6 sons." So she named him Zebulun. Some time later, she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. They got a daughter! Out of how many sons? I don't even... 11 at this point, I think? I don't know. Somebody count, let me know. But finally, they have a daughter. Then God remembered Rachel. He listened to her and enabled her to conceive. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son and said, "God has taken away my disgrace." She named him Joseph and said, "May the Lord add to me another son." Wow, so no wonder it takes a whole 3 columns just to go through Jacob's children. He had a lot by 4 different women. So let's see. So Reuben was 1, Simeon 2, Levi, Judah 4, so that was it with Leah at first. And then Bilhah gave him a son, Dan. And then Bilhah gave him a second son, Naphtali. And then it went over to Zilpah, and she gave him a son, Gad. And then a second son, so that makes 8, Asher. So that's 8 so far. And then the whole buying him with her son's mandrakes. And then she gave him another son, so that's 9, Issachar. And then she conceived again. So that's Zebulun. We're up to 10. And then we have Dinah, who's the 11th child. And then we have Joseph. So there was 10 sons, 1 daughter, before Rachel gave birth to Joseph. 12 kids in all so far. That's a lot of kids. Hey, cheaper by the dozen, right? Except they had more of a variety, I think. I don't know if I could handle 11 sons and 1 daughter. I'd be hanging on to that daughter for my poor life. Whew. Although the rate that Kai wants to have kids, she's like, we're going to have 1 of each before we stop having kids. I was like, okay, here comes the football team. Nah, just messing around. I mean, we do each want to, we both want to have 1 of each. But anyway, that's more on the personal side, getting away from the Bible. But I just thought I'd share, because it's funny how he has 10 sons before he gets a daughter. Ooh, we can't have 10 sons. Nope. All right, well, that was the account of Jacob's children. Let me know what y'all think about this. I mean, married 2 sisters, and both of their servants had 12 kids by the 4 of them. Wow, it's just, I mean, how different was it back then compared to today, right? I mean, today you just think of that as crazy, or I don't know. But anyway, give me your thoughts. Spread it around. Get other people's thoughts, because I want to know. I want to hear what everybody thinks. All right. But we got Sunday coming up tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll see you again tomorrow morning.